right. Hey there, everyone. Bobby D here with Virtual Event Fundraising, and I am so excited to have the dynamic duo of Givergy with me. I've got bob.treash and dan.rohn. They are kind of the leads of this, and they're leading a charge with Givergy and a huge energy now in what we're talking about is the new normal. Okay, so Bob, how you doing?
Doing great.
Awesome. Dan, how about yourself? How's everything in your new normal?
You know, it's an exciting frontier because it just translates everything that coming out of our telecom days. That's how mobile devices changed the face of the American consumer out there,
Right.
and leveraging that technology to help organizations continue their fundraising efforts is what this is all about.
That's what it is. We're here to help nonprofits continue the impact, that they're trying to create within the world. So, Bob, I want to ask you what makes Givergy stand out in the marketplace of mobile fundraising or tech fundraising, or what we're calling now virtual event fundraising.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and Dan and I talk about this all the time, we've been in this business now almost 10 years. So we know the platforms very well. And I think Givergy stands out a little differently because the system itself is really built around crowd participation. So if you think about it, in our days, we know that if we can get more people involved, chances are we're going to raise more money. So we have lots of tools within our software that we have that allows us to measure crowd participation, from donations to bids. We can have leaderboards that come up and tell the crowd how they're doing. We even have a feature within the platform that allows people to, let's just say they've been bidding all night and they've won nothing. We could ping them at the end of the night and say, hey, you've lost all the items. Would you like to make a donation with the highest bid or your highest losing bid? So let's just say they bid $500. We can ask them if they want to convert that into a donation. So what we're trying to do is really get those people that have spent zero to spend. So we can kind of pick on them through the software as we go through it real gently. And we know that if we can move that participation level from 30% to 50%, it does wonders for everyone.
Excellent. Dan, so now I know we were talking a little bit earlier about the experience and the relationship, and I think that's a thing that stands out. Let's talk a little bit about that. That gives the Givergy is looking to build those relationships quite a bit more.
Well, it's a fact. There's no two fundraising events that are alike, and being able to bespoke our technology, being able to understand the client's needs, really comes through a relationship. The relationships really start on the front end with our sales team, with Bob and ourselves and our team out there, getting to understand the client's needs. Once that sale is made, we stay involved in that relationship. The client gave us the trust, made a decision, a buying decision, they bought into it. We don't want to break that by translating that over to an unknown entity that really doesn't understand what we've been through and figuring out what the client needed. So relationships is important. We tie that back in with solid support. Our fundraising event consultants are well-versed in our tech. We lay in what the client needs. We work collectively and collaboratively to deliver that event. And then we support it on the backside with 24-hour, 7-day-a-week chat service. In that we're a global company, we're delivering in every time zone around the world at different times. So we have to be able to support our clients. So if you're working and your committee is at 11:30, 12 at night, and you need an answer, and you can go on the chat box and the line, and you'll have an instant reply coming back out of that.
Wow.
Further, we've supported that with the Givergy community, which is an online portal that we provide our clients to go into for best practices, how-tos, videos. It's important to be able to provide information when an organization's committee needs it. Doesn't happen during normal business hours. So we've geared that for that. So those are some very differentiating items and support features that really stand out in Givergy's world that support our clients out there.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about here with this new normal. Is it's like, how can we provide the most support and the most information, from what was. I know a lot of organizations were very event focused within their fundraising. I mean, a big portion of their revenues came from that. And then now, with the way the world is now changed and is evolving into a complete virtual space, how can Givergy provide the tools? What types of kind of actual things that we can give the nonprofits to now elevate that event and recoup or even raise more than what they thought they were going to raise before?
Here's a great example. This past Saturday evening, we had a scheduled in-room event for a private school in Atlanta. Earlier in the week, the board made a decision that they were just going to try to shelter that event and postpone it. The event committee came back and said, no, the technology that we're working with Givergy would allow us to go virtual online. In this case, they had everything pretty well organized. They were doing a pre-event release out there to get engagement early, get registrations early, get bidding and everybody engaged. They went full bore, opening it up, made the presentation to their greater community from the standpoint that to be socially conscious, they were going virtual and online. And as they did so, they were applauded. Their community supported them in that. They rallied around, and they hit 79% of their goal, their revenue goal, by flipping it from an in-room experience to a virtual online. It was, and we're going to have some testimonials being written and coming back from the event organizer there inside the school. Very pleased with what happened. It just kind of demonstrates the fact that the new normal, people are going to accept it because of, one, the social responsibility they want to project for their own patrons and to the community, and to have a resource where they can have direct engagement with the client or with the patrons, can push notification, have communications, instant notifications. Everything is real time and can come back and monitor and manage it as well or as effective as it was in the in-room experience. So these are going to continue. They're going to grow. And Advent's going from auctions to even just appeals and donation campaigns that they're running out there. It does give them the advantage to extend the hours. They did, instead of closing it on a Saturday evening, they ran it through Sunday evening so they could get more engagement with the friends and family and supporters of the school. So it does have legs. It will run. It's sometimes the fear factor people have of stepping out and making a transition and engaging their patrons and their supporters of a easy, user-friendly experience.
Nice. Well, good. Well, I mean, I like how you say that social responsibility, and now people are going to understand that, there is this new opportunity in this new way. And I like how you can extend that. There is a big conversation about engaging, more of that donor base instead of the 300 to 500 people that would only attend the event. It's expanding that. And
well, you're absolutely right, Bobby. You can hit your entire donor database out there, and as I always say, expand the tent. You can reach people anywhere at any time. So it really gives you an important in the ability of our platform to come back in and through messaging and pull in all of your opted in compliant guests that have been at your events historically and include them. It just gives you, as Bob says, increases the crowd participation.
Okay, so Bob, let's talk a little bit about that crowd participation. Now, are you seeing, I think Dan touched on it, the auctions versus the appeals? I mean, are we, are people still going to need the stuff, with the auctions? Or, I mean, I come from the world now of evolving as just an auctioneer to where now more of an appeal specialist. And with, this conversation that we're having is, kind of that virtual event fundraising strategist to help, everyone understand this. So let's kind of talk about, auctions, appeals, different things, elements that can run through Givergy.
Yeah, so everything that typically you guys have at an event, we have on the platform. So all your appeals, donations, obviously your auctions. We even have a feature that Dan really sells hard. It's called sealed bidding. So Bobby, if you think about if you were trying to sell a trip to Mexico, We could actually, where they could buy it on the phone, and well, they don't buy it, they bid on it, but nobody knows the highest bid. So
Oh,
you could actually juice it up. You could talk about it. And if you got 20 bids behind the scenes, we know every bid, but the guest doesn't know the bid.
oh,
So
okay. So
literally,
then,
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's almost like a live auction without everyone around you knowing what the highest bid is.
okay.
What
So
we
let's
will
just say
share,
that,
Yeah,
what we do
Dan, yeah,
share
clarify that a little bit.
yeah, yeah. What we do share with the guests is that we have 6 bids, we have 20 bidders, we have 30 bidders participating. And the basic premise of it is that to this evening, the top 5 bidders over a minimum dollar value, over 500, over 1,000, whatever it is, will be going home or will win one of these packages tonight. So
Nice.
periodically, as a new bidder comes in, we have the 35th bidder has just placed a bid. So it gives you pause to rethink, is my bid, I really want this package. I need to put my best bet forward and maybe up my ante now, and I have the ability to do it. So it's a different twist, a different engagement to really sell multiples, to be
Yeah.
able to sell multiple packages. At the school, they were basically selling multiple parking spots for the, picking up their kids at school. And they
Yep.
had so many of them. They said, our top 5 bidders tonight are going to go home with this. And they didn't share what the bids were. And it just kept ratcheting up. So
Wow.
it's a nice tool, a different twist, and it's very manageable.
Nice. I love that. Yeah, that's a great take on all of that. And now I know the nonprofits in the world are always like, okay, well, how much? We're raising money, but what does our investment look like? But then also, I mean, we're trying to push that investment forward and make sure that ROI is truly worth it. So let's talk a little bit about investment. Like, what is a nonprofit looking at, and then also what kind of ROI can they now expect?
so Dan, do
Well,
you want to hit that? Or you want me to?
yeah, I guess the reality of this in terms of the proper ROIs for organizations, it needs to be, a single percentage digit of cost. I mean, their return, their investment, what they're getting back out of it's got to be a 4, 5, 6% type of cost to dollar. So if for every 6 cents I can get $1, or $1 comes in the door, it's cost me 6 cents to deliver. That's kind of a matrix that you can kind of work off of.
Oh yeah.
Coming back around, and if it's going to cost you 15, 20 cents, it gives you pause to think, is this tech really going to be worth it at the end of the day?
Right.
So that's kind of a 10% line out there is kind of a make or break, and a good way to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
On the back side of it, we've really kind of have several packages that we can present. All the way from starting at a full white glove experience where I could come into an organization. We come in, we really help them. They don't want to face up their imaging. They don't want to do anything. Just send us, your basic images, your colors. We will build the sites for you. We'll load your packaging. If you have auction packages out there, we'll get it all geared up for the night of, or when you want to release it, and support it in behind it. Those packages will run anywhere from around $2,250 to about $2,700, depending on the extent of what the work that has to go into it and assets. We can gear down to where organizations, because they've been using tech, and a variety of different vendors have good tech out there, they feel comfortable in building it. And we have an event management system that is intuitive, that they can build their own packages. We have supportive videos and an onboarding process. It is a live experience where we onboard them, taking them through, helping them set up. And then we revert back to our 24/7 chat and online tutorial and best practices to help guide them through. Those packages start around $995 and basically set in around $1,450 to $1,500. So the spend on this, as compared to some of our other builds that we have out there, is, I think, in a sweet spot for a lot of organizations that make it affordable.
Definitely.
And in that we're not having to contract in staff and tech, and I'm not building a local area network to deliver tablets. That we really mitigated a lot of those costs with the leveraging of mobile technology and a smart event management system in behind it.
Nice. That's excellent. Great information. Bob, so now, I mean, you've worked with, nonprofits for many, many, many years. And now let's say that you're, an executive director or, major gifts officer or something. And all of a sudden, this new normal happens and your event was scheduled here in the next, month or two, what type of advice could you give a nonprofit like that to, like, what would be that first step, or what would be that tip that you could give them to help them take that, kind of that movement into the new normal?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the best thing that Dan and I do is listen. So we listen to their pain points. We listen to where they want to go. The system is so flexible because it is used in 6 different countries. It will do just about anything you want it to do. And look at their goals. So are their goals to do this? And we want to be realistic. We don't want to say, hey, this system's going to do everything for you. And like Dan said, it's almost how much effort do they have time to put into it? Because that's one of the reasons we came out with a full service white glove. To if somebody came to us and say, hey, I don't want to touch this, I'm going to send you all the auction items and then you guys have to do the rest. We have a lot of customers that just don't have time. So
Right.
they're going through this chaos right now. They hands off, they don't have the volunteers. So if they don't have that infrastructure in place, we have it in place. So we're trying to mitigate their issues, their pain points. If we can help them out, we definitely want to help them out. But like Dan said as well, is that a lot of people they're used to tech. So if they want to build it, they can get it at a lot less price point. And then, they can kind of take advantage both ways. So we have some people today that are coming in that basically says, hey, here's everything, build it. We're going to have a casino night, make it look like Vegas. And how long does it take? We typically are up within less than 2 days.
Okay.
So, we're not wasting time. So as soon as the agreements are agreed to, typically that day or the next day, they have access to the platform. And then we just kind of assume our roles and responsibilities that we've undertaken. So, we're ready for the charge right now.
Nice.
We have a lot of calls coming in. We know you guys have a lot of calls coming in. So we definitely want to be a resource for you guys.
Excellent. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, it's great. I mean, and then that 2-day turnaround, and then that hands off for a nonprofit, because I mean, they're in the business of providing impact and programs, not necessarily in the business of fundraising. To have someone that they could just really turn that over to, and then give them, all those solutions, hands off, I think is absolutely fantastic. So, gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for your time today, and sharing this information with the nonprofit world. Again, we have Bob Trish and Dan Rohn with Givergy. Please check them out. I'm going to put all the links here in the video below. And if you're looking for that great white glove service or any spectrum of that, and I think that Givergy is a great solution for you. So, gentlemen, thank you, and really appreciate your time today. And I'm asking people to enjoy their new normal. We have some new opportunities to explore with this. But again, Bobby D with Virtual Event Fundraising, and everyone continue to go out, be awesome. What you do matters, and it makes a huge difference in the world. And the world needs changing, and you are all the ones that are doing it. So I want to thank everyone. Go out, have a great day, and we'll talk to you all soon. Bye.